Part 38. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 371. The next moment, a group of things similar to black holes slowly appeared in front of Li Bai. The breath emitted by each black hole was extremely terrifying, and it continuously absorbed the dark breath and all matter around the black hole, as if it could devour everything. Hee, endless epochs have passed, and you are still as disgusting as before. However, why haven't you made any progress in your strength? Li Bai said with a fake smile. So what, Li Bai, don't forget that it was us who imprisoned you at the beginning. Yes, no matter how strong you are, Li Bai, you have been imprisoned by us for countless years. This is your eternal humiliation. The mocking voices came out again from these black holes. In their opinion, the most proud thing is that Li Bai has been imprisoned for endless years. So, now, your old friend has come to see you. Why, don't you welcome him? A slight smile crossed the corner of Li Bai's mouth, but although he was smiling, it was chilling. Welcome, of course we welcome you. After all, in this era, almost no creature dares to step into our darkness, except you, Li Bai. Ha ha ha, that's right, we have been lonely for a long time. Oh, lonely for a long time. In that case, how about I let you stretch your muscles? It's just right, I also want to try whether you can imprison me again. It's just right, since you say this is my humiliation, then I will wash it away, how about it? Li Bai's words were extremely calm, so calm that there was no ripples at all, but it was precisely because of this sentence that these black holes suddenly became extremely distorted, and waves of terrifying primordial darkness swept in from the black holes, and even the surrounding time and space were distorted and swallowed. At this moment, the expressions were also disguised, they were in fear and trembling. Li Bai, what do you mean? Do you want to attack the darkness? Are you crazy? Li Bai, we advise you to take back what you just said. A series of extremely angry voices came out from the black hole. The reason why they dared to mock Li Bai unscrupulously was that at this stage, Li Bai did not dare to attack the darkness. However, the long-term comfort made them forget what the real Li Bai looked like. Oh, it seems that even if I was imprisoned for endless years, you would still be afraid. I thought you have become so brave now. In that case, I will start first. The look in Li Bai's eyes slowly disappeared. After a moment, an unimaginable breath spread from his body. Boom! In an instant, the darkness seemed to evaporate where this breath passed, and then a little light slowly appeared in this primitive darkness. Sizzle! It was as if a drop of water was touched on a hot iron plate, the sound was extremely harsh, and at the same time, it seemed as if there was endless darkness wailing. After all, this is one of the most primitive darknesses, and there has never been any light. Li Bai, you. Looking for death, we can imprison you once, and we can have a second time. Darkness shrouds, and the world is sinking. Kill. Brothers, kill Li Bai. Boom. The next moment, these black holes burst out with extremely terrifying dark power. Originally, the darkness that had been dispelled by the light came back at this moment, like a flood of destruction. Under the blessing of endless darkness, this ray of light gradually extinguished. Next, it's you, Li Bai. With our dark orders, give outsiders death. Reign of darkness. Dark cross, exile. The next moment, the endless dark frenzy turned into a dark sword that stabbed Li Bai. This terrifying power was simply unheard of. However, all this is far from over. Darkness devours light, eternal damnation. Li Bai, let us see if you can still stop it. One terrifying move after another is constantly coming out of the black hole. At this moment, it seems that darkness has really come, the end of all light. These moves, with just a wisp of breath, can kill an emperor countless times, not to mention that it is in the base camp of darkness, with the blessing of endless darkness. At this moment, Li Bai looked at the various terrifying moves sweeping in front of him, shook his head and said, "Sure enough, it's still the same old moves, which really disappoints me. You haven't made any progress. One sword, eternity." Li Bai put his fingers together as a sword and slashed it out with one sword. Eternity in an instant. A dazzling and peerless sword light, wrapped in this breath that transcends everything, suddenly appeared in the endless darkness. Wherever the sword light passes, all darkness becomes nothingness, and a touch of light pierces the dark mist and reaches the depths of the original darkness. At this moment, it was as if it was a battle between darkness and light, and the fate of the two was fully manifested at this moment. With just this one move, all the moves of these black holes were completely disintegrated. How is it possible? Damn, how can this sword be so powerful? The furious voice turned into waves and came out from the black hole. Of course it is so. After all, this sword is one of the swordsmanship I used when I destroyed the Eternal Land. How about it? It's not bad, can it catch your eyes? Li Bai said lightly. Stop it for me, the original darkness. Everyone, form a formation, ordinary tricks are useless, great dark gods, give us endless darkness. Great dark gods. Then, these black holes kept murmured, as if summoning something. Suddenly, the entire original dark space was constantly wriggling and gathering, as if it had intelligence. Then, a black shadow larger than the entire origin world slowly appeared, and a breath of original disaster burst out. This breath was too terrifying, covering everything, and time and space seemed to be condensed. And this terrifying breath only appeared during the Battle of Origin. At this moment, this breath of disaster passed through the original darkness and reached countless origin worlds. Countless old monsters felt their hearts and minds trembled, as if a disaster was about to come. What's going on? This breath actually makes me so panicked. It's darkness. This breath comes from the original darkness. What happened there? The gazes of countless old monsters passed through the long river of time and crossed the endless boundaries, trying to look directly at the darkness. However, no one dared to go over and check, even if there was a transcendent like Zuzeo among them. After all, that was the original darkness. Oh, one of the dark gods, dark disaster, is interesting. This chapter was not sent out just now. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 372. As for Li Bai, he recognized the true identity of the Black Shadow at a glance. It was the Dark Disaster, a dark origin god, an innate originator. He was the source of all disasters and terrors. As long as there are living beings practicing the power of disaster and terror, they cannot escape the dark disaster. In fact, Zioxu's body of disaster was also derived from the power of the dark disaster, but it was purified, and the person who purified it was the eternal fate of the dark disaster, the light of purification, a light origin god. Among all the innate origins in the world, only the dark and light factions are the most special. Although they are innate origins, they are not created, but born naturally in the era. After all, darkness, whether before or after the beginning of the beginning, will always exist. The same is true for light. They exist in every ray of light, and like darkness, they will last forever. There is no eternal innate origin, but there is eternal light and darkness. After all, in the era buried by the innate originator, there is always darkness and light. And those innate origins did not regard darkness and light as the same kind. In a sense, there was no common interest or hatred between them. However, all this changed after the beginning of the creation. Those innate origins envied darkness and light. And there were minions of innate origins in darkness and light. All the dark invasions in the world, including the one in the fairyland, were because of these minions. And in those wisps of light, there were also countless minions, constantly tempting those innate lights to fall into darkness. Who did I think it was? It turned out to be my old friend, Li Bai. A hoarse voice came faintly, without any emotion, and the person who spoke was the Dark Disaster. Haha, long time no see, Dark Disaster. Look at your breath, it seems to have recovered a lot. It seems that you have been well raised for countless epochs. Li Bai said with a smile. Strange, old friend. It seems that the relationship between us has faded. Dark Disaster said slowly, this time, there was even a hint of teasing in his tone, as if he and Li Bai were really old friends who had not seen each other for a long time. You are still as disgusting as before. Every time, I still can't help but want to beat you up. Li Bai said teasingly. Ha 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 ha, you are worthy of being my old friend. No creature in the world dares to talk to me like this. Seeing us one by one is like seeing some great horror. It's great. Dark Disaster was not only not angry, but extremely happy. This was quite contradictory. The conversation between the two also completely shocked these black holes. They didn't understand, but logically speaking, shouldn't Darkness and Li Bai be in a situation of fighting to the death and quarreling as soon as they met? Look at them and Li Bai. Both sides are incompatible and want to kill each other. This is correct. Why, now their dark gods and Li Bai are chatting like close friends who haven't seen each other for many years. Gods of Disaster, what are you doing? Gods of Disaster, we summoned you to kill Li Bai, not. Old friend, please wait a moment, some flies are annoying. After that, Dark Disaster said to the black holes. Are you questioning me? Hee hee, you are just slaves of the original darkness, not even the real darkness. Strictly speaking, you don't understand the secret of the word darkness at all, not to mention, do you really think that we don't know which minions you are? It seems that you don't have to exist. After that, Dark Disaster grabbed the black holes with his big hand, and these black holes, under this power, could not resist at all. The next moment, they were sent into his mouth. No, no, don't, gods of disaster, we are wrong, please forgive us. I don't want to die, I am darkness, I can't. The next second, the world is quiet. Annoying ants, so noisy. Dark Disaster said with great disdain. Tisk tisk, don't you think it's a pity to wipe out these darknesses like this? Li Bai said slowly. Haha, old friend, you know that we can easily create countless ants like this, not to mention that they are arranged by those bastards, but they have always been kept in the dark and acted as chess pieces. Not only that, none of them really understands darkness, but they even want to drive away eternal light. They are really a group of idiots. Old friend, you understand us. I really love you. Dark Disaster said with a smile. Okay, it's so corny, I have goosebumps. Li Bai waved his hand and said. Then, Li Bai and this Dark Disaster talked about it like a treasure, and they talked for a long, long time. Ha ha ha, old friend, I don't know why you came here this time, please don't just come to chat with me. Dark Disaster's tone was extremely excited. After so many eras, he was almost lonely to death, and the other dark gods either disappeared or fell into an endless sleep. My plan has begun. Li Bai said slowly. Hearing this, Dark Disaster was not surprised. After all, they also knew about Li Bai's plan. I'm not surprised. On the contrary, I think you started too late, old friend. Let me calculate. Since the War of Origin, task, it has been hundreds of eras, not to mention the extremely long Taishu era and Chaos era. Dark Disaster said after careful consideration. It is indeed very long. There have been things that delayed it, so it has been delayed until now. Haha, old friend, you have something to say, just say it directly. Nothing, I just want you to take care of the darkness under your command. They have been blocking us. Li Bai said lightly. I thought it was a big deal. Don't worry, old friend, I will make them stop. Oh, you agreed so readily? Li Bai asked in surprise. After all, we have imprisoned you for countless eras, so just take it as a little compensation. Dark Disaster said gloatingly. Haha, thank you. Oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You are too polite. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 373. That's right, it was these dark gods that imprisoned Li Bai, not the black holes. Back then, after Li Bai stepped into the darkness for the first time, he killed them in front of these dark gods. Later, after a great battle, both sides discovered that no one could kill the other. Simply, these dark gods relied on their numerical superiority to temporarily imprison Li Bai. It was not considered a prison, but Li Bai could not leave that place. Later, under the erosion of countless epochs, Li Bai and the dark gods actually developed feelings between friends. After all, they were the same kind of creatures, and Li Bai was also surprised at the time that he would actually be with these dark gods. Become friends. Hey, old friend, to be honest, we really want to join your plan. After all, if it succeeds, this result will be too tempting, but, you also know, this can't be done. Those who resist still feel so frustrated. Dark Calamity said disappointedly. Pull them down. If you can really join, the bright side will also join. In the end, you will fall into an endless war again. By that time, my plan will have been ruined by you. Li Bai said contemptuously. Ha 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 ha, what my old friend said makes sense. I almost forgot about this. How could those bright green tea bitches let go of this opportunity? By the way, old friend, how are your experiments in the world going? Dark Disaster's tone became a little serious. Previous reincarnation experiments all ended in failure. Although I can control the process, without exception, their processes all go the same way. However, this time I see a little hope. Li Bai said slowly. Oh, it's good to have a little hope. For us, this little hope will be infinitely magnified. By the way, old friend, I have to remind you. What? Those originators are already showing signs of awakening. Not bad, you can actually notice it. It seems that your time in these eras has not been wasted. Li Bai said with a smile. Old friend, what you said? I have known it for a long time. Not only that, I have also met one of them. What the hell, you've seen it before. The tone of Dark Disaster suddenly became urgent. What a fuss. No. Can you blame me? By the way, who did you see? I don't know. He didn't reveal any aura, and he is not the real person. However, I can feel that he may not have any ill intentions towards me. Damn it, old friend, you are so confused, you can't be deceived by them, they have so many tricks up their sleeves. Dark Disaster said with a roar. Ahem, I mean, they are so cunning, we have all suffered at their hands. After reacting, Dark Disaster changed the subject. Immediately, Li Bai told Dark Disaster about the attack in the outer domain at that time. I see, what about your real evil clone? Is it possible that it was really imprisoned by them? It's impossible. Although it is your clone, it has also inherited all your methods. Ask me, who should I ask? Li Bai rolled his eyes at him and said. By the way, old friend, I suddenly thought of a question. If your evil thoughts are really imprisoned by them, wouldn't the plan be? From the current point of view, it should not be completely exposed. Otherwise, the rest supervisors would have taken action long ago instead of testing like this now. Li Bai shook his head and said, Tusk, Tusk, it seems that your clone is still very strict with his mouth. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. I'm here this time and I have a secret to share with you. Li Bai's tone became extremely serious. After Dark Disaster heard Li Bai's tone, he also put away his playful smile and listened carefully. Say it, old friend. Do you still remember that I told you before that maybe there were countless eras before the Taishu era? Of course, but this is not your speculation. Wait, old friend, don't tell me, you found the evidence. Dark Disaster's tone became extremely excited. What did you say? Damn it, old friend, you damn found the evidence. You are so humming inhuman, you can find all this. Dark Calamity didn't have the majesty of the dark gods at this moment. Instead, it was like a shrew cursing in the street, so harsh that Li Bai had a headache. Who are you scolding? You are not a human being. Damn it, old friend, I'm not a human being, what are you talking about? Piss off. Hee, I'm excited, my old friend. After all, this news is so explosive. After Dark Disaster felt that he had lost his composure, he coughed lightly and returned to his previous appearance. By the way, old friend, where did you find the evidence? Li Bai pointed at his head. See, degree, see. Dark Disaster looked confused. What do you mean, old friend? Fragments of my memory. Your memory fragments. Oh, I see, who are you with that blank memory of yours? Li Bai nodded. Then what did you discover from it? After asking, Dark Disaster found that Li Bai looked at him with a weird smile on his face, which made him feel nervous. Old friend, don't smile like that, I'm scared. Also, although we are old friends, but, that's not allowed. Huh? What are you talking about? Li Bai said puzzledly. Nothing, go on. Here, are there any minions? Li Bai looked at the original darkness around him and said slowly. Understand. After saying that, Dark Disaster waved his hand, and in an instant, the endless darkness rolled back without hindrance, leaving a space without any material. Hey, old friend, tell me quickly, I can't wait, Fly rubbed his hands. Dark Disaster said impatiently. It's very simple, those innate origins were all created. Li Bai said slowly. What do you mean, what does it mean to be created? Your head was kicked by a donkey, you don't understand such a simple word, just like the darkness you created, those innate origins are not innate creatures. Li Bai said helplessly. 1 second, 2 seconds, after an unknown amount of time, Dark Disaster finally reacted and said hoarsely. Old friend, you are not kidding, right? What do you think? This is too exciting, my head almost exploded, I can't imagine that those damn things were also created, if so, how terrible those created creatures must be. Old friend, if it's according to what you said, then we. Suddenly, Dark Disaster was horrified, this sentence, thinking carefully, is extremely terrifying. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 374. Don't worry, you are the true innate origin. After all, darkness and light exist no matter what the circumstances, and they exist eternally. Li Bai said lightly. That's good, that's good. By the way, old friend, since this is your memory fragment, damn it, doesn't that mean that you want to know? Certainly. This matter is not in my memory fragments, but a person told me. Who? Sword Immortal, a junior. How did he know? In a secret place, a piece of text was found, which described all this, and at the end it was signed, Twilight Kingdom. Li Bai said slowly. Twilight Kingdom. Another extremely unfamiliar name. The tone of Dark Disaster is full of heaviness. Why did you say again? Li Bai asked curiously. Because I have also heard of a place, and it is a place that we have never heard of or seen before. What? The beginning of the road. Dark Disaster said word for word. The starting point of the road? What a strange name. Li Bai frowned and said. Where did you know that? This one. After Dark Disaster finished speaking, he handed Li Bai a stone tablet with the 4 words the starting point of the road engraved on it. Moreover, these 4 words seemed to have a special magic power that made people fall deeply into it. It's interesting, I can't see through the material of this stone tablet. Li Bai rubbed the stone tablet and said slowly. After I got this stone tablet, I spent countless methods, but I still can't see it through. Moreover, the hardness is beyond my imagination. Dark Disaster said slowly. The stone tablet that cannot be broken even by the origin of darkness makes me interested. How about letting me watch for a while? Li Bai stared at the stone tablet and said slowly. He, no problem, I'll give it to you directly. After all, old friend, you told me such a big secret. Besides, there's no use staying here with me. I guess it might be the same as the Twilight Kingdom you mentioned. Dark Disaster looked at Li Bai and said. Since there is a starting point of the road, does it also have an ending point? Li Bai asked after thinking for a while. How did I know this? This stone tablet was also obtained by luck amid the turbulence of time and space. Dark Disaster spread his hands and said. By the way, old friend, back to the previous topic, that is to say, these innate originators destroyed the creatures that created them, ended that era, and reopened the beginning, right? Yes, this is the secret they have been guarding. Then I have a question. Since they can create innates, the strength of these creatures should be far more than the originators. How do these innate originators do it? After all, resisting the creator is not an easy thing. Dark Calamity said doubtfully, if this is really the case, it means that the originator is not the end. There is a higher realm above this. However, Dark Calamity feels that the cultivation system has reached the end. Probably not. The originator should be the end point. Perhaps the reason why those creatures created the innate originator was to explore whether there is a higher realm, but it was just backfired in the end. Li Bai said negatively. It makes some sense, but not much. However, after you said this, I became even more curious. Where are the creatures who created those bullshit? Where are the places that buried that era? Are they still alive? It's useless to be curious. We don't have access to it now, so we can only explore step by step. Li Bai said lightly. Ha ha ha, we have no hope, we can only rely on you, old friend. Dark Calamity said with a smile. I didn't expect you either. Damn it, old friend, your words really chill me. After Dark Disaster finished speaking aggrievedly, he changed the subject and asked. By the way, old friend, are Jushin and the others coming back soon? According to my estimation, the time is almost up, and I will probably return completely after the road to all realms ends, because at that time, the law of the beginning of all heavens and all realms will be at its weakest. Li Bai nodded and said. Then, do you need my help? I'm overthinking it. It's just 9 days, so I can't do anything wrong. Besides, if you come forward, don't you think about the consequences. Li Bai rolled his eyes and said. Hey, forget about this. After all, in the eyes of the world, are old friends and we are mortal enemies. Dark Disaster said sarcastically. At this moment, Ling Baiao's voice came from Li Bai's mind. Sir, the Spirit Clan, they just said that they are about to start. So fast. Well, it's been a month. I forgot, time flows at different speeds, no problem, I'll go back immediately. Okay, sir. What's wrong, old friend, what happened? Dark Disaster saw Li Bai, who was dazed for a moment, and asked slowly. Well, I'm going to see the shadow of the origin of destiny right away. Oh, to meet someone, disappear, you, wait, what did you say just now, you are going to meet the phantom of the origin of destiny? Dark Disaster realized it belatedly. Why, are you surprised? Damn, how can I not be surprised, after all, those things are too cunning, and I am afraid that you, my old friend, will suffer a loss. Do you think, with my personality, I can suffer a loss? Besides, the creatures in the world that can make me suffer a loss have not yet been born. Although Li Bai's tone was like a joke, the majesty in it was non-committal. Tisk, it's hard to say, besides, the origin of destiny is still a very, very, very beautiful girl, it's hard to guarantee you. Get lost, I won't talk to you anymore, I'm leaving first. Li Bai said impatiently. Ah, I'm leaving now, my old friend, we haven't seen each other for a long time, I still want to buy you a drink. Or, wait a little longer. Dark Disaster said reluctantly, it was not easy to find someone to talk to him, so he had to delay for a while. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future, let's talk about it later. Well, in that case, we will wait for our old friend to arrive here. Yes. After Li Bai nodded, his figure disappeared directly in this original origin. Alas, you left so quickly, I'm afraid I will be lonely for several epochs again. As the words disappeared, the Dark Disaster also disappeared in the darkness. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 375. At this moment, in the eternal upper realm, the Immortals soared heavenly palace. After the ancestor, Xiaoyao and Xiaoleng came with the cursed goddess, they were almost familiar with Xuanhuan, Niao, and others. However, despite how familiar they were, there was always a trace of caution in the conversations between everyone and the ancestor. And fear. Xuanhuan, Dishishan, and others were okay. After all, with their mentality as pioneers and explorers, they could barely accept it. But Niao and the other 5 major forces were different. They were more frightened. After all, the identity of the ancestor is really terrifying. If it were not for Li Bai, the dependence of the innate originator would never be able to come into contact with such a person in their lifetime. Of course, they didn't know anything about the cursed goddess, 11, and 11 didn't explain or talk to them. After all, in her subconscious, except for people like the ancestor, Li Bai, other living beings did not have such qualifications to interact with them. During her dialogue, the thoughts and insights of both parties were no longer on the same level. Naturally, they couldn't talk together. You, sister Xioxi, this name, the barbecue is so delicious. The little demon's eyes shone brightly, and he said vaguely with a large handful of skewers in his hand. No one will compete with you, eat slowly. Compared to the goblin gobble, Xiaoleng is much more elegant. Well, the waist is really good. Xioxi also gave a fair evaluation. Hey, sir, I love it the most. I roasted the kidneys. Da Shichun said with a silly smile on the side. Yeah, I didn't expect that he and I actually have the same taste. It's really unlucky. I won't eat it. Xioxi put down the kidney he had taken a bite from and said with a cold face. By the way, Da Shichun, are you sure that the person who created you is called the Wandering Ancient Immortal? Then Xioxi looked at Da Shichun and said. Of course, I won't lie. Da Shichun said with certainty. The creatures in the rune world are really terrifying. A master can actually create such explorer creatures. How did he cultivate in the first place? Xiaoxi glanced at Dashichan and said silently in his heart. The first time she came here, she noticed something strange about Dashichan. He had no living aura, only a steady stream of rune aura. Therefore, she would later ask Li Bai about the news about Dashichan. However, Li Bai didn't tell her too much news. Brother Shachan, please bake more. The little demon said to Dashichan. No problem. Feel free to eat, you won't be able to finish all the ingredients I have here in an eternity. It seems that when Li Bai comes back, I have to inquire about the rune world and this wandering ancient immortal. Xiaoxi moved his gaze elsewhere and murmured secretly. The other side of the heavenly palace. Sister Ling Ai, how are you? Has the master replied? Ergozi asked hurriedly from the side. Hearing this, the first ancestor, Xiao Yao, Xiao Leng, Emperor Jun Taishu, Han Shui, Emperor Shishan and the other 5 major forces also looked at Ling Biao. They were all waiting for an answer. My lord said, he will be back soon, let's get ready. It's great. We can finally meet the legendary originator. Brother, are you nervous? Han Shui looked at Emperor Shishan and asked slowly. Well, it would be a lie to say I'm not nervous. After all, this is the origin of destiny. But, after all, it's just a shadow. What's more, there are adults around, so I'm not that nervous. Emperor Shishan said with great honesty. Compared to this, I am more curious about this, sir. Yes, that's right. After all, the source of all this is this lord. Not only does he know the secrets of the spirit clan, but he also has. When the demon fairy said this, he subconsciously looked at the ancestors next to him, Xiao Leng and Xiao Yao. It's a pity that even now, you haven't told us the identity of this adult. Mu Yang, the head of the Mu family, said slowly. No matter what, it's not something we can discuss. 2. At this moment, in another hall of the Immortal Sword Heavenly Palace, dozens of geniuses from the eternal upper realm gathered together. The realm of each genius has reached the realm of the God King. Their aura reaches the sky, and the fairy light overflows. They have the demeanor of a young emperor. Especially the realm of the leading geniuses has reached the realm of the Chaos God King. They are, respectively, the geniuses of the Immortal Sword Tiangong headed by Jian Wuifeng, the geniuses of the 5 major families, and the 2 geniuses of the Emperor Jun clan. It is worth mentioning that Qin Feng and Dugu Kaiofei were quickly promoted to the throne after becoming the emperor. The realm of the God King. Counting the time, it will start soon, right? A woman wearing a black tights, which vividly outlines her figure, and her ink-like hair is flying freely, asks slowly. This woman is the current witch of the Demon Palace, Mou, a genius of the Chaos God King, born with a natural body. Why, the great demon body, and the pseudo-taboo avenue, the great demon. Well, it should be today. I am extremely curious as to what the Eldar's conspiracy is this time. A man who was surrounded by fairy lights, seemed to have the sun, moon, and stars appearing, with an extremely terrifying aura, and a face as if carved by a supernatural craftsman, looked at the demon moon and said slowly. This person is none other than the emperor's son of the Mu family, Mu Xianjun. Likewise, he possesses a powerful body and has reached the realm of the Chaos God King. And Mu 11 is his sister, half-sister. Haha, even if there is a conspiracy, if the spirit race really dares to plot against us, the entire Wangu upper realm will probably start a great war, / A man said arrogantly. This man was called Dijun Lingfeng, the son of the Dijun clan. Although his strength was not as good as the fallen Dijun Haoshan, he was ranked among the geniuses of the entire Dijun clan. Of course, he was not among the top 10 sons of the emperor. You, the Dijun clan, are naturally fearless. After all, in terms of death, you and the top forces of the spirit race are not much different. Moreover, even if there is a war in the Wangu upper realm, it will not affect your ancestral land. The son of Daoshan Xianzong said contemptuously. Yes, your Dejun clan is so awesome, unlike us small forces. The son of the Mo family followed suit. That can only mean that you Daoshan Xianzong and Mo family are useless, and no one can be blamed. If you are a rookie, practice more, don't talk nonsense. Dejun Lingfeng said disdainfully. In his impression, only the spirit race can be compared with their Dejun clan. Even the strength of Xianjian Tiangong is not qualified. Although this sentence is arrogant, it is true. In the past, any top martial arts competition in the Wangu Shangja, their Dejun clan never bothered to participate. You, bastard. Dejun Lingfeng, although we admit that your Dejun clan is very strong and call it the first among the spirit races, but you can't represent the Dejun clan, not to mention, don't think we don't know that among all the emperor's sons, you are at the bottom. The emperor's son of Xiaoao Pavilion couldn't help but sneer. What, you're broken, a bunch of losers. Let me tell you, the geniuses of our Daijun clan have never considered you as opponents. Our opponents have always been the geniuses of the Ling clan. Daijun Lingfeng glanced at a few people and didn't take them to heart. If such words could arouse his anger, then he didn't deserve the position of the emperor's son. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 376. Damn, he's so arrogant. Damn, I can't bear it anymore. Immediately, these words angered most of the geniuses present. After all, they are all the top geniuses in the eternal upper world. They have their own pride, how can they endure such humiliation? Quiet, stop making noise. At this time, a voice as gentle as jade slowly resounded through the hall. Although the tone was extremely gentle, it was inexplicably majestic. Everyone immediately shut up and became speechless. There is no way, this man is really too strong, so strong that they can't overcome or even catch up. This man is the first emperor son of the Daijun clan and the grandson of Emperor Jun Taishu. Emperor Jun has no boundaries. Emperor Jun Wei had only appeared once in the entire eternal upper realm before, but it was that time that made all the geniuses understand the gap between him and them. They could never forget that day. Emperor Jun Wei made a clean and neat appearance. Zhao defeated more than a dozen of their geniuses. Lingfeng, apologize. Dejun Wei looked at Dejun Lingfeng, frowned and said calmly, his tone was unquestionable majesty, if other geniuses have the demeanor of a young emperor, then Dejun Wei is a young emperor at this moment. I asked you to apologize, don't you understand? Dejun Wei's tone became more serious this time, and his power became more and more terrifying. Even the void began to twist and tear apart. At this moment, the entire hall was filled with the oppressive aura of Emperor Jun Wei. Only Mou and the others, Shangguan Qingqing, were able to handle it with ease. Sorry. The next moment, Dejun Lingfeng said to the geniuses, there was no trace of dissatisfaction on his face. First of all, he knew that even 10 of him would not be able to defeat Dejun Wuya. Secondly, if there was no accident, Dejun Wuya would be the next one. As the helmsman of the Emperor Jun clan, he still knows the pros and cons. After hearing Lingfeng's words of apology, Dejun Wei's brows gradually relaxed, his aura disappeared, and all the geniuses felt as if they had been reborn. Okay everyone, although there may be some grudges between us, we are all on the same front now. We have the spirit race as a common enemy. I hope you can remember it. Dejun Wei's words sounded like he was discussing, but in fact he was issuing an ultimatum to warn every genius. Emperor Wei, we know. We know. Old Chen, is this Emperor Jun Wei really that scary? At this moment, Qin Feng asked Chen Tian doubtfully. Even Tugukaiubai was extremely curious. You are a little younger than us. What's more, the battle between geniuses was not announced at that time, so it's normal not to know. At that time, Jian Wuifeng, Xuetong, Shangguan Wuking, and Mou, as well as the other emperors of the imperial clan, were defeated by Emperor Junhui with one move, and there was no room for resistance. You said, it's not terrible. Not only that, Emperor Junhui has never exposed his own physique, avenue, etc. Chen Tian said softly. Damn it, it's real or fake. We are both the top geniuses in the upper world, so there shouldn't be such a big gap. That's true. It's so strong that it makes no sense. Qin Feng and Tugukaiubai said in shock. Haha, there is also a gap between the top geniuses. For example, we only have a chance to become the great emperor, while those like Emperor Junhui will definitely become the great emperor as long as they don't fall. Moreover, we may have no choice but to stop after becoming the great emperor. As for the immortal emperor, he may be able to reach the immortal emperor, but Emperor Junhui's road has no end, and no one knows how far he can go. Chen Tian sighed and said, sometimes the gap between people is so big. You think you are standing at the top, but in the eyes of some creatures, it is just a threshold. Damn it, when you say that, I'm so jealous that I can't even envy you. We are destined to be from different worlds. Qin Feng said disappointedly. Haha, the more this happens, the more motivated I am. And Tugukaiubai's eyes are full of fighting spirit. After all, his way of swordsmanship is like this, fighting to support fighting and defeating him. Haha, I advise you, if you give up on this idea, you will only know the difference after the battle. I am afraid that your Taoist heart will collapse. At this time, Xuanhuan, who had always been extremely cold, suddenly said. If you don't try, how will you know? You can't defeat others without fighting. In a sense, there are some force majeure, that is, force majeure, you can never break it. There are some truths in this world, and you can break it without relying on your ignorance and self-confidence. Do you know what kind of genius Dai Junhui is? Shangguan said coldly, with no expression in her eyes. Listen attentively. He is the genius of the era. The genius of the era. To put it bluntly, it is the genius that takes an eternity to appear in the upper realm of eternity, and it is the only one. Do you understand? Or do you think that your own talents are comparable to the talents of the eternal upper world that gave birth to a genius of the era? Shangguan stared at Tugukaiubai and said slowly. After hearing these words, Qin Feng chose to lie down, while Tugukaiubai still wanted to struggle. Still not giving up. Shangguan saw Tugukaiubai's hesitant look and didn't understand why he was so stubborn. You know what I practice, right? Tai's Hang Wuking. Then you know the strength of that white-clothed man, right? Yes, I know, it's terrible, terrible beyond words. That white-clothed man made me feel scared, and so is Junhui. Boom. At this moment, Tugukaiubai's mental defense finally collapsed, and even if he wanted to refute, he couldn't find any reason. Okay, Wan'er, don't hit them like this. After all, we and Junhui are not from the same world. Jian Wuifeng, seeing Tugukaiubai's listless look, couldn't bear to say. I just told them a fact, don't dream of surpassing something that you can't understand. Yes, yes, I know you are kind, but your words, even I would probably collapse. Mu11 comforted him. By the way, Sister Shangguan, how does Junhui compare to those Tianjiao of the Spirit Clan? Seeing this, Qin Feng hurriedly changed the subject. I don't know. After all, those Tianjiao of the Spirit Clan have never shown their faces, so it is impossible to know their strength. However, I think that even the strongest Tianjiao of the Spirit Clan may not be able to beat Junhui. At most, they can be equal. After thinking for a while, Xuanhuan gave a pertinent answer. As expected, the Dejun clan is worthy of being the Tianjiao of the epoch. It's really scary. Qinfeng sighed. In comparison, these Tianjiao are just like ordinary people. Okay, let's not talk about this. Now our energy should be focused on the great emperor's cemetery. Start, Invincible, met the empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 377. While the geniuses were having a heated discussion, Li Bai had already appeared in the heavenly palace. Sir, you are back. Owner. Ah, big pervert. Grown-ups. After everyone saw Li Bai, they said with great excitement that after listening to the descriptions of the ancestors and others, they had been yearning for this journey. Well, it seems that you guys get along pretty well. Li Bai said slowly after seeing everyone getting along. We, juniors, demon immortals, meet you, your majesty. Afterwards, people from the 5 imperial clans also paid homage to Li Bai. You are the other forces invited by the spiritual clan. Li Bai said lightly. Yes, my lord. The strength seems pretty good, and he is worthy of being one of the top forces in the upper world. Li Bai glanced at everyone lightly, and immediately, Moxian and others felt as if everything about themselves was seen through by this calm gaze. Sir, you are ridiculous. Our strength is completely dwarfed by yours. The demon fairy slowly said, since you don't know the other person, let's lick him first before talking. The other 4 people were complaining in their hearts. They never thought that the usually taller demon fairy would one day become a licking dog. After Li Bai finished speaking, he ignored everyone again. In the eyes of others, these 5 imperial clans were indeed very strong, but in Li Bai's eyes, they were just like that. They were tasteless to eat, a pity to abandon, and used as chess pieces. Barely okay, but not very useful. Ancestor, have the waters of origin been distributed? Li Bai looked at the ancestor and said slowly. Only those geniuses are left. I don't dare to act rashly. After all, their highest leader is only the Chaos God King. I'm afraid they won't be able to hold on to this drop of origin water. The ancestor said slowly. It doesn't matter, just give it to them later. After my purification, even a mortal with no power to bind a chicken can swallow it. Li Bai said lightly. Okay, sir. Then, Li Bai said to Zioxi, Emperor Jun Taishu, the ancestor, Han Shui, and Emperor Shishan. Come here with me. Okay, sir. After finishing speaking, several people walked to the depths of the heavenly palace. Only after Li Bai disappeared did everyone dare to whisper. This is that adult. Why do I feel like a mortal, with no breath at all? Nonsense, what do you think about such a character? If someone exposes his aura at will, we might be gone. Tisk, tisk, I really didn't expect that you are so young. Yeah, I thought it was an old monster. By the way, Niao Niao, do you know the true strength of this adult? Demon Fairy asked Niao now. If you want to know, ask the adults yourself. He said with a faint smile. Are you kidding? How dare I? Okay, I advise you not to know too much, otherwise, I might scare you to death. Niao said in a serious tone. On the other side, deep inside the heavenly palace. Sir, what do you want to see us for? Dijun Taishu asked slowly. You know everything about the matter, right? Li Bai asked slowly. Yes, sir, the ancestor has already told me. However, after all, I am going to see the shadow of fate, so I am still afraid of any surprises. Dijun Taishu said with a frown. Oh, old man, you are worrying too much about this. You are so scared when the young master is here. Han Shui said nonchalantly. Of course I believe in the young master's strength, but... Okay, I understand your worries, don't worry, for now, it won't happen. Li Bai said slowly. Since you have said this, adults, then I don't have to worry. Dijun Taishu said slowly. Li Bai, did you really go to the dark side? Immediately, the curse goddess Xiaoxi looked at Li Bai and asked, Emperor Jun Taishu, Han Shui and Emperor Shishan's eyes widened instantly after hearing these words. At that time, the ancestor just said that Li Bai had something to do elsewhere. But I didn't expect it to be dark. What, master, you went to the dark? Sir, is it true, you really went to the darkness just now? Han Shui and Dijun Taishu said extremely nervously. It could be seen that they were afraid of the dark. Even Emperor Shishan, who was always not good at speaking, had a lot of fear on his face. It's just a trip to the dark, no need to make a fuss. Li Bai said calmly. Sir, what you said is light, it may be just like going home to you, but to us, it is darkness, the source of countless wars and disasters, how can we not be afraid? Dijun Taishu said bitterly. Sir, you are so pretentious. Li Bai, don't you want to talk about it? Xiao 11 asked slowly. It's nothing, just meeting an old friend. Who? Dark Scourge. Omega Omega. Suddenly, Xiaoxi and Ancestor's eyes kept trembling, as if they were recalling something, with a trace of fear on their faces. After a long time, Xiaoxi opened her red lips lightly and said. Dark disaster, one of the originators of darkness, the source of all disasters. Otherwise, is there a second dark disaster? You said he was your old friend, how is that possible? Everyone in the world knows your relationship with darkness. Xiaoxi said in disbelief. There is no eternal enemy, only eternal interests, even darkness and innate originators are no exception. If, now, these darkness and innate originators can tell me the answer I have been pursuing, then I can give up everything now. Li Bai said with a smile. But how did you know him? The curse goddess asked without giving up. Hearing Xiaoxi's question again, Li Bai's face immediately turned cold, and he said without emotion. You talk too much, you know. Some things, don't ask if you shouldn't ask. You, Humph, don't say it, I'll check it myself. Xiaoxi saw Li Bai's expression and knew that Li Bai might be angry, so he immediately chose not to ask about it. This matter cannot be discussed, what about the other one? Which one? It is about that Dasha Chun, and that Nalan Yan, a god king, or a person from the lower world, don't tell me that her identity is simple. Xiaoxi asked cautiously. It seems that there are two things, right? Li Bai said teasingly. After hearing this, Xiaoxi also knew it, and Li Bai did not continue to be angry. Hurry up and tell me, hurry up and tell me. Xiaoxi hurriedly urged. Didn't Han Shui and Emperor Shishan tell you about Das Hashun's matter? Sir, you forgot, we were outside at that time. Han Shui said aggrievedly, she was under the car, not in the car, how could she know those things? I forgot. What do you want to know? Li Bai looked at Xiaoxi and asked curiously. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 378. About the wandering ancient immortal and the rune world. The wandering boy, it's very simple. He is not a living being, but the world of runes, transformed from an innate rune. Therefore, it is reasonable that he can create Dasha-chun. As for the rune world, you should have heard that it was destroyed by those guys. But, I remember that there are several originators in the rune world, and there is also an innate origin of runes. Can this be destroyed as well? Xiao 11 said doubtfully, this is why the rune world is so awesome. In general, there is only one origin world, or there is no originator at all. For example, in all the worlds, there has never been an originator. Not only in this way, there are not even transcendent ones. It is precisely because they are too unnatural and they are infinitely close to certain truths that they are destroyed by those guys. After all, this is an extremely unstable factor. The truth, you mean? I don't understand this either, maybe. Where's that Nalan Yan? After hearing this, Zioxy continued to ask. This is very simple, because he is the guardian of heaven. The orphan of heaven in the upper world. No wonder you must destroy the spiritual clan. It turns out it's because of this. This is only a small part. The biggest reason is because they took things they shouldn't have. Okay, these two matters are over here. The reason why I called you here is because you are all forerunners and you may be able to understand something. Li Bai looked at the few people and asked slowly. As for why Xiao Yao and Xiao Leng were excluded, it was naturally because the two silly girls from the landlord's family had not even left the unknown place, so how could they possibly understand? My lord, please ask. Have you ever heard of the name of the starting point of the road? The starting point of the road, this name is so weird, it doesn't feel like the name of a place. Indeed, never heard of it? I do not have either. Emperor Huntaishu, Emperor Shishan, Zioxy and others thought about it for a while, then shook their heads and said. Ancestor, what about you? Li Bai looked at the ancestor and said. Sir, I'm sorry, I searched all my memories and couldn't find the starting point of the road. The ancestor said apologetically. Only, Han Shui seemed to have fallen into deep thought after hearing this name. Sir, I seem to have some impression, but I'm not sure. Then, Han Shui said hesitantly. No problem, just say it. You are such a young master, you should still remember my affairs. Well, do you want to say it has something to do with this matter? Yes, I seem to hear those guys say the word starting point at that time, but I didn't hear the previous words clearly, and I'm not sure if it was the starting point of the road. Han Shui said slowly. Anyway, this message is very useful to me, thank you. Hey, sir, you are too polite. It's interesting. It seems that the originator must have told them. Unexpectedly, the most powerful source has returned to them. It's really haunting. Li Bai rubbed his chin and said. If there are people with innate origin who hear the sentence, they will definitely not be able to help but scold Li Bai, this shit basin can hit them on the head. Ah, the originator. Han Shui blinked her innocent eyes and said blankly. Otherwise, you think that with the help of creators and masters like them, you can swallow up an origin world. You think too highly of them. Li Bai said mockingly. That makes sense. Alright, it's almost time. Let's get ready to leave. Let's go see the Phantom of the Origin of Destiny first and then talk. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. After saying that, several people walked out of the depths of the heavenly palace. And everyone has been waiting for a long time. Everyone, let's set off and inform the disciples in your clan. Okay, sir, we will give orders right away. Sir, should I go too? Ling Biao asked absently. Don't worry, the spirit clan can't find you. What's more, they have never looked for you during this period, which means that their thoughts are not on you anymore. Li Bai said slowly. In that case, I'm relieved. The next moment, the geniuses who were still waiting in another hall also received the news immediately. Great, we can finally set off. Okay, everyone, you should have received the news, let's go outside and wait. Xuanhuan said with a gentle smile. Okay. At this moment, these geniuses are extremely excited. After all, this is the Emperor's cemetery, and it is still in another world. Maybe there will be a chance to change themselves, or even surpass, Emperor Xuanhuan. After finishing speaking, a group of geniuses went to Fairy Sword Mountain. Wow, look, they are the geniuses of the 5 imperial clans. When did they come here, and what are they going to do? Holy shit, this is the first time I've seen each other in my life, these talented people gathered together. MOU from the Demon Palace, Mu family, Mu Xuanhuan, Mo Tian from the Mo family, Daozai from the Daoshan Immortal sect, Emperor Zi from Xiaoao Pavilion. Holy shit, aren't these all the top geniuses in our upper world? Look, those two, how come I have never seen them before? A disciple of the Fairy Sword Palace asked in confusion after seeing Dijun Wei and Dijun Lingfeng. Looking at their temperament and aura, they must be from the imperial family, but they seem to have never shown their faces. Just as all the disciples were extremely shocked, they saw that the void was slowly torn apart, and then an extremely huge and luxurious ferry boat slowly appeared, with a light blue light on the surface of the ferry boat, shining brightly. These 2 ferry boats were created by the 2nd generation palace master of the Fairy Sword Palace. The entire ferry boat was made of a huge piece of divine gold. The guardian law on it was also created by the 2nd generation palace master himself, which was enough to withstand the supreme full-strength attack. Not only that, it can also safely pass through the turbulence of time and space. This is the immortal boat. Didn't we say that the immortal boat of our Xianjian palace would not be used unless a war broke out? Could it be that? Impossible, if a war really happened, we would not be able to not receive the news. Everyone, please follow me and board the immortal boat. Jian Wuifeng said to the Tian Xiao. I have heard that the immortal boat of the Xianjian palace is different from others. Seeing it today really opened my eyes. Yes, it is much better than our Mu families. I am so envious. Afterwards, the Tianjiao followed Jian Wuifeng into the immortal boat. At this moment, Li Bai and others had already appeared in the immortal boat. Palace Master. Family Head. Family Head. Grandpa. After seeing the helmsman of their family, the Tianjiao shouted respectfully. Okay, take them to their respective rooms first. Remember, they must drink the water of origin. Also, when the time comes, Teishu, you can just show up. Li Bai couldn't stand the noisy scene and said slowly. Okay, sir. Dijun Teishu nodded and said. A moment later, the leaders of the imperial clan returned to their rooms with their respective forces tips. They all had a common question in their hearts, who is this man in white? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 379. The Immortal Realm, the Central Immortal Realm, and the Immortal Palace. Tisk, I haven't seen my best friend for a long time, I feel so lonely. The Emperor of Nothingness sighed. At this moment, more than a dozen great emperors gathered in the main hall, including Nanyi, Dewang, the Xuanhuan Emperor of the Xuanhuan family, the Yuhua Emperor of the Yuhua Divine Dynasty, Xiaoko from Wanqi Academy, Taiku Longli, Lao Liashu, and Qing Xian. And the Emperor Xuanhuan, the 3 original Sin old men, the 2nd generation with double pupils, and so on. They all stood up to the great emperor in the previous battle when the immortal realm destroyed the outer realm. It was also after that battle that the prestige of the Xuanhuan family and Wanqi Academy reached its peak in their respective immortal realms. So, that's why you called us here. I said, old man Xingguo, if you are bored, ask your wife to have more children. What are we doing? This dog emperor wants to fill his harem. De Huang said unhappily. Damn De Huang, you are talking nonsense. Believe it or not, I castrated you and you are still thinking about the harem. Nan Yi glared at De Huang and said. I'm talking about nothingness. If you have anything to do, just say it. We spent such a huge battle to get us here. Don't tell me, just to listen to your chatter. Qingxian said with a frown. Oh, you don't care about me, but you are still such a close friend. The Emperor of Nothingness said sadly. Hearing these words, all the great emperors fell silent slightly, and there was a look of nostalgia in their eyes. It has been 5 years since Li Bai left. In these 5 years, many things have happened, especially Xiao Sui. Xuanhuan Minjiao, Emperor Lin, Jun Wuodao, and others have stepped into the realm of God Kings. Even for the sake of cultivation, they have never gathered together in the past 5 years. Alas, it has been 5 years since you passed away. Yeah, 5 years, it's just a blink of an eye to us, but it seems like countless epochs have passed. I never thought that we, the original sins, would one day miss Li Bai. The fairyland is your fairyland after all. Master, you won't want me anymore. De Wang cried and roared. Damn De Wang, shut up, master, he just left, not dead. Nan Yi couldn't bear it and gave De Huang a big dick. Okay, everyone, this is not the time to feel sad. After all, it's not like he won't come back. Qingxian looked at the emperors and comforted him, speaking of it, since Li Bai left, they have been leaderless, as if they have lost their goal. By the way, old man Xingguo, 5 years have passed now. Could it be that Jushan must return early? At this time, the second generation Chongtong said suddenly. Hearing this, all the emperors had looks of horror on their faces. Don't worry, my best friend said that after 10 years, it won't be earlier. The Emperor of Nothingness said slowly. Then why did you call us here? Could it be that it's the road to all realms? No, the road to all realms. I remember there's still some time left. Old man, tell me quickly. Okay, everyone, please be quiet. The reason why I called you here is because of the Eternal Realm. The Emperor of Nothingness said slowly with a smile on his face. The Eternal Upper Realm is not a place for adults to go. Is there any news about adults? Is this really news from your lord? Since your lord left, I have been asking around for news about the Eternal Upper Realm, but the result is disappointing. Immediately, the emperors said one word at a time. Everyone, I'm not talking about this thing, but a race. The Emperor of Nothingness has a sly smile on his face. Who is that? Eldar. Eldar? What happened to them? They exploded. Our immortal clan has an informant in the Mu family in the Eternal Upper Realm. According to his description, the Spirit Clan invited all the top powerful people in the Upper Realm and their geniuses to go to a great Emperor's cemetery. The Emperor of Nothingness said slowly. It's just the great Emperor's cemetery. What's the point? We also have a great Emperor's cemetery in the Immortal Realm. Haha, this is not an ordinary Emperor's cemetery, but a corner of the Origin War. The Emperor of Nothingness said slowly. Suddenly, there was deathly silence in the Immortal Palace. A corner of the Origin War, are you sure, old man? Of course, this matter has been confirmed by several major forces in the upper world, including the Daijun family. The Emperor of Nothingness nodded and said. The Emperor Jun clan. I have traveled across the heavens and the worlds before and heard that the Daijun clan is the first force in the upper realm of eternity and the Spirit clan. It is not inferior to the Spirit clan. In terms of the top combat power, it can even compete with the Spirit clan. The Spirit race is a draw. The second generation with double eyes said slowly. Damn it, you are so awesome. I remember that there is no way of heaven in the upper world for eternity. The Spirit clan is the way of heaven. In this way, this Daijun clan is the same as our heavenly clan. Of course it's not as good as the Celestial clan, but it's still very strong. I can't even imagine what kind of opportunities there will be in the Origin War. If the Spirit clan gets it, don't forget, the Spirit clan hates you and the Immortal Realm very much. All the great emperors frowned, with serious expressions on their faces. Can we stop it? How to stop it? We don't know the location. Damn it, according to the peeing habits of those people from the spirit tribe, they will inevitably cause trouble in the future. Everyone, don't worry about this matter, because I have a big surprise to tell you. The Void Emperor moistened his throat and said. You can really hold it in, old man Void. Hurry up and tell us, otherwise, we will tear down your fairy palace. The Emperor said angrily. I won't tease you anymore. The surprise is the news from the adults. Damn, old man, why didn't you tell me earlier? I thought there was no news from the adults. I really want to kill him. Look at his face. It's ugly. Although the Emperor said this, the joy in his eyes could not be concealed. Old man, are you sure? Well, the probability is very high. The informant said that there are 3 people who have reached the top of the Immortal Road in Xianjian. One of them is very young, dressed in white, and has an impeccable appearance. The current palace master of Xianjian respects him very much. As for the reason, it is because all 3 of them are emperors. It must be the master. I know him too well. He loves to hide his realm and show off. Nanyi said excitedly. Yes, it must be the adult. Only the adult can control this image. What a big surprise. In that case, the adult must also know about the spirit race. Almost, he should know. At this time, De Huang said faintly. I say you, if you really want to know, why don't you let Sister Nanyi contact the master? The master doesn't contact us, which doesn't mean that we can't contact the master. Besides, the master shouldn't refuse. De Huang tilted his head and looked at the emperors and said. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 380. Sigma, degree. Hashtag degree. 1 look, 2 looks. Damn, De Huang, you are such a genius. Nanyi rubbed De Huang's head fiercely. How could she have forgotten it before? Others couldn't do it, but she couldn't do it either. She was really stupid because of cultivation. How did we forget this? In the final analysis, it's because we are not strong enough and we are inferior. Yes, we dare not disturb adults, so we forgot it? Yes, that's right, it must be like this, we are definitely not stupid. I think you are suffering from Alzheimer's disease. De Huang said disdainfully. Little Nanyi, hurry up, try to contact adults. Okay. Then, Nanyi looked nervous, couldn't help but clenched her little hands, and tried to contact Li Bai in her mind, and played it out. 1 second, 2 seconds, more than an hour has passed, and there is no news. Just when the emperors were disappointed, they heard Nanyi's surprised voice. Master! Nanyi! After a moment, a voice that was very familiar to the emperors came from the other side. Master, I thought you ignored me. Nanyi said aggrievedly. How is it possible? I just fell asleep, and the distance between the eternal upper realm and the immortal realm is very far, so it takes so much time. Li Bai said with a smile. By the way, Nanyi, you didn't contact me for such a long time, I thought you forgot about me, your master. How could it be? I won't forget it. By the way, is the immortal realm okay now? Don't worry, master, it's fine now. Where is Xiao Sui? She has been practicing since you left, without any slackness, and now she is infinitely close to the Chaos God King. Nanyi said with a smile. This little girl. By the way, Suwu, Xuanhuan, where are these emperors? Very good. Hearing Li Bai's caring words, the emperors couldn't help but moisten their eyes. The adults still remember them, and the adults have them in their hearts. Then, Qingxian couldn't help but speak first. My lord. Lord Bai. Master. Best friend. Over there, Li Bai heard these familiar voices, and a smile unconsciously appeared on his face. Oh, you are all here. From your voice, your realm has improved. Not bad, you didn't let me down. My lord, we really miss you. Yes, my lord, you don't know that after you left, we didn't want to drink tea, eat, or sleep at night. Okay, okay, a bunch of old guys, don't think it's disgusting. Li Bai complained. By the way, best friend, how are you in the eternal upper realm? Emperor Suwu asked carefully. You don't know my strength yet, what can threaten me? Hee, that's right, after all, we have never seen through you. Let me think, it should be 5 years in the fairyland now, and it won't be long before Ju Tian returns. During this period, you must be prepared. Li Bai changed the subject and said to the emperors. Sir, don't worry, we have been working all the time. Yes, sir, please rest assured, we are doing everything you ordered. In that case, I am relieved, you should have other things. Li Bai asked slowly. By the way, master, I have something to ask you. Speak. Then, Nanyi told Li Bai about the spirit race. Oh, I didn't expect that Suwu, this guy, actually has spies in the Mu family. It's exactly the same as you said, but it's not a corner of the origin war. Li Bai said slowly. Ah, what is that, sir? That tomb is the tomb of the originator. Boom. At this moment, the emperors felt as if their hearts were broken, and their expressions were extremely horrified. The originator, grave. My dear friend, is this true? Of course, but it's not the kind of originator you think of, but the acquired originator. And the reason why the spirit clan did all this is to sacrifice everyone and summon the phantom of the innate originator. Bang! The hearts of the emperors were completely shattered. They never thought that the spirit clan would be so bold. Aren't they afraid of being backlashed? Master, then you? Nanyi immediately asked worriedly. Don't worry, I have my own arrangements, you don't have to worry, and after this, I will destroy the spirits. My dear friend, you are not kidding. What do you think? Awesome, I can only say that you are awesome. My lord, awesome. Master, awesome, shout to the sky. By the way, there is one thing I want you to pay attention to. My lord, please tell me. Try your best to find the starting point of the road and the Twilight Kingdom. If there is any news, contact me immediately. Li Bai said slowly. My lord, we remember it. Okay, let's go here first, see you in the fairyland. After saying that, Li Bai hung up the call directly. Huh, I didn't expect that this trip would bring such important and shocking news. Yeah, the phantom of the originator, the spirit race is really too. Hee, playing with fire and getting burned. However, the last words the adults said, the starting point of the road, the Twilight Kingdom, these two words are extremely unfamiliar. Since the adults said so, let's try our best to find them. Okay everyone, since our best friend has said it, we don't have to worry. Now, we have two things to do. The first is to wait for Jushin to return, and the second is to help our best friend find these two places. By the way, there may be an answer in a place, I'll go first. I also thought of a place. I will let everyone in the Wanqi Academy look for it. Yuhua Divine Dynasty, Xuanhuan family, we will mobilize everyone as soon as we go back. In that case, I'll talk to the immortals, demons, gods, and monsters. After the Emperor of Nothingness finished speaking, he disappeared in the fairy palace. With the departure of the Void Emperor, all the emperors left the Immortal Palace immediately to look for news about these two places. This is Li Bai's prestige in the immortal realm. In one word, All the emperors took action immediately, so the immortal realm is Li Bai's immortal realm. On this day, countless emperors' auras shook the sky and the universe. One emperor after another was born, and this was the entire immortal realm. Even the emperors of the 4 tribes of immortals, demons, gods, and monsters were the same. After all, they now understand the importance of Li Bai to the immortal realm. The immortal realm cannot do without Li Bai. At the same time, countless beings in the immortal realm also felt their scalps tingling. They didn't know why these emperors went out together on the same day, but they didn't dare to ask too much. After all, it might be related to that person to trigger such a large-scale action.